not being able to move about as one would want, one realizes that your new norm is you being at home. At times, frustration will begin to kick in. What is happening? There's nowhere to go. What to do? We just have to stay home. At times, it becomes unbearable, but there are consequences that will be done. So you have to make up your mind as an individual to say, to follow the laws of the land, to be safe, not just for me and my family, but for the nation. So I'll stay home. During this whole pandemic, a lot of us are not coping well. We're not used to it. The silence is deafening. Inside, we are crying out. We want to be free. We want to be free. We want to go. We want to move. To be able to do what it is that we want to do. We are feeling like a caged animal, having the control by the government. We're not used to this. This new norm isn't working.
Alright, greetings. My name is Kamoe Gordon. You're just listening to a song done by the students of the School of Music, Edamani College School of Music, and it's called YAAD, and it's based on the message sent out by the Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Ones. You know what I mean? Encouraging Jamaicans to stay home, YAAD, especially during this COVID-19 period, as we try to mitigate and alleviate the effects on the economy, you know what I mean, on the population as well. You know, definitely, while doing this project, while working on this project, a number of theorists, you know what I mean, came out. And specifically right now I want to talk about behaviorism. And this states that it really focuses on observable behaviors, all right? And behaviors say that all behaviors are acquired through conditioning, which occurs through interaction with the environment. So you see, they are stimuli. They're stimuli in the environment, and based on our reaction, based on our interaction with these stimuli, definitely we will react a certain way. There is a response, all right? And just as an example, basically, you might live in a community where the majority of the persons living in the community, they're actually staying inside. All right, so you in yourself, you would not be encouraged to go outside, versus somebody else who lives in another community where everybody there just roaming freely and going about, doing everything, and you know what I mean, ignoring the whole message and everything. Then I mean, you might feel that little freedom, or think that you can, oh, it's okay to just go outside. You know what I mean? But this is the importance of conditioning, you know what I mean, and pretty much the stimuli that you get from the environment. Because based on what you receive from the environment, your behaviors will be curtailed that way, and it will lead you in that specific direction. All right. So again, conditioning is the process by which which a stimulus is used to get a required response, which changes a certain behavior based on the consequence. All right.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Sanima Bryan. I'm a School of Music student, and I will be speaking on the arrangement that we did, YAAD. So the musical arrangement, YAAD, emphasized the Prime Minister's plea for Jamaicans to stay at home. In the song, you could hear lyrics such as chilling at home, watching Netflix, and using Instagram. Lines such as Zozo up to something speaks the curfew hours that were implemented. Throughout the pandemic, the Prime Minister had urged individuals to stay at home. There were a few delinquents who decided that they would not follow the instructions and broke the rules, however they suffered the consequences. Jean Piaget, a famous philosopher, stated that people learn based on their experiences, which will help them to rethink, evaluate, and alter their perceptions and incorporate new ideas into old experiences. An example of this is when Dane Mitchell disrespected the Prime Minister and the authorities by posting a video saying that he would not adhere to the curfew hours. He was arrested and then later apologized for his actions. He then afterwards posted a video encouraging persons to stay at home during the curfew hours. In this scenario, Dane Mitchell rethought and evaluated his actions after his experience with the authorities, and he also had a new outlook on the situation.
Good night. My name is Dexter Lendy, and in this video I'm going to use the song Heal the World by Michael Jackson. I'm going to use this song and relate it to John Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development. In doing so, I'm going to focus on the chorus of this song, which states, "Heal the world, make it a better place." I would first like to remind you of the 4 stages of this theory. Stage number 1 is the sensory motor stage, which is from birth to 2 years of age. Stage number 2, the pre-operational stage, which is from 2 years of age to 7 years of age. Stage number 3, the concrete operational stage, which is from 7 years of age to 11 years of age. Stage number 4, the formal operational stage, which is from 12 years of age and older. In looking at the line from this song, "Make the world a better place," I believe that parents and guardians work to ensure that these stages of the child's development is filled with positivity and love. Also, guidance. Number 1, the sensory motor stage. During this period, children learn about the world by using the senses to interact with their surroundings. They touch things, lick them, bang them together, and even put them in their mouth. It is important that a parent provide and maintain a safe environment for the child during this stage. We must make sure that toys are clean. Number 2, anything that may be of health risk to the child is not in its surroundings, such as alcohol, drugs, or even sharp objects, such as knives. Stage number 2, the pre-operational stage. During this period, children begin to think and learn to use words and pictures to represent objects. In an attempt to make the world a better place, parents and guardians must ensure that the language used around the child is not explicit in nature. 2, that the TV content is suitable for a child. Stage number 3, the concrete operational stage. During this stage, children begin to think logically about certain events. It is important that parents and guardians try their best to ensure that the events that may take place during this stage are ones that are positive and have a positive impact on the child. It is also important that he knows that he or she has help. The child must know that they have help during this stage with their thinking and with guidance. Stage number 4, the formal operational stage. Teens begin to think more about moral, ethical, social, and political issues that require an abstract of reasoning. It is important that parents and guardians practice good moral and ethical values that can be instilled within the child. It is important that we socialize with positive peers that will have a positive impact on their lives. In conclusion, all of this would lead to making the world a much better place. My name is Dexter Lundy, and in this video I would have related John Piaget's stages of development to Heal the World by Michael Jackson. Thank you.
My name is Daniel Ricketts. I'm in the psychology class. My research would have been based off the B.F. Skinner, right, as it relates to the two songs, YAAD and Heal the World. So let's get into it. So, behaviorism stems from the work of B.F. Skinner and the concept of the operant conditioning, right? Behaviorism theorists believes that the knowledge exists independently and outside of people. They view the learner as a blank slate who must be provided the experience. Behaviors are acquired through associations between stimulus and responses. Thus, association leads to a change in behavior. The learning process is based on objectively observable changes in behavior. The theory is that the learning begins with a clue or a stimulus from the environment, right, that is presented to the learners. Then there is supposed to be a response that comes after, right, some type of response from that learner. Consequences that reinforce the desired behavior are arranged to follow the desired behavior. For example, YAAD, right? If you turn YAAD, you won't catch coronavirus, or you are likely less to have a chance of catching coronavirus if you turn YAAD, right? B.F. Skinner and the operant conditioning has to do with the reinforcing of what persons are supposed to do, right? By reinforcing some type of stimulus into the person's mind, right? Like persons should turn them yard. So the songs would serve as a clue or a muscle reflex that, oh, you have to turn your yard, right? If you turn your yard, you're less likely to catch a coronavirus, right? So the two songs serve to that purpose. So when you hear those two songs, it will click into your mind that, oh, I shouldn't go out, it's not safe. But I'm turn on my yard, then I will be less likely to catch coronavirus, right? If you want to catch coronavirus, go out. But if you don't want a coronavirus, stay in. That's what the song is basically saying. Heal the world. By staying home, you are healing the world. You're contributing less to the coronavirus being spread across the world. So heal the world, in the lyrics, heal the world. Right? So that's basically what heal the world is saying. Stay at home. So you won't be able to contribute to the number of spreading cases of the coronavirus that is happening out there. And you're less likely to catch a coronavirus. Well, seeing that I don't have coronavirus, I'm putting on my mind same way. And me I got turn on my yard. So should you.
Hey guys, it's your girl Lori. We're gonna talk about cognitive development, cognitive learning. John Piaget's theory, the development of learning. Yeah, that one, and how did it affect us through this pandemic? How did COVID affect us cognitively? Yeah, it shifted our thinking drastically. Like, we went from creative and interested to learn to being lackadaisical in the snap of a finger. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Like, teachers had to change their teaching patterns for us as the students because of how the pandemic had affected us and how lack of interested we are to learn. I mean, Piaget's theory talked about the process of learning, or its contribution should be based on the process of learning and how it has gained, or but at a time like this, I'm assuming learning had decreased, or it increased in a way that it looked like it's decreasing, I guess. That don't make no sense. But anyways, yeah. Learning in the classroom, or let me say, would be different because you're face to face to the teacher. Yes, you're face to face to the teacher on these online platforms that they have enforced in us to use at this time of the year throughout this pandemic, but you get the students more engaged in the conversation, as, like, take for example my psychology class. I'm more engaged in the class than when I'm at home. When I'm at home, I have 50 and a million things thinking about to do in that one time. Than when I'm at school, I'm in it to win it. Like, at home, I want to sleep. When I'm at school, I get every information like snap of the finger. I don't even have to ask questions. When I'm at home, I ask a bag of questions, like, unnecessary. That's where you see where, it had affected us drastically.
Alright, Tania YAAD. So I am doing a series Jean Piaget, and his theory is on cognitive development. It suggests that students has different stages of mental development, and his theory focuses on not only understanding how children acquire this, but understanding the nature of intelligence. In his theory, cognitive development, he proposed that human beings process through 4 development stages: sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. So, what are these? Sensory is from birth to year 2, using your senses, your motor skills, and performances that are learned. Pre-occupational is from 2 to 4. So this is symbolic thinking, language use. Concrete operational is from 7 to 11. So this is applying logic, interpretation, and finally formal operational is from 12 to adulthood. This is thinking abstractly, having hypothetical ideas, and these are the process of his theory of cognitive development. In a time like this happening, especially with Corona, this can be affected, especially through the stages, each and every one stages, because we know how the norm is to go to school, interaction, but now we have social distancing, and in social distancing, we now have to be operating differently. As adults, we have to be finding more creative ways to get things done.
we have to be, especially for like a college student like me, have to be doing things differently in terms of getting schoolwork done and all these things. Children, especially now, who are more imaginative, and their experience is what their thing is, and interacting with other students has now been eliminated. So now you have to be finding creative ways to get them to do what they're supposed to be doing, creative ways to interact with all these new things, being online and being on the live, and still getting them to push out maximum work without taking from their development, although it has changed. So Tanya Yard, in this corona time, I just did Cognitive Development by Jean Piaget.
The surface psychology in a COVID times, she a run people mad and not take it easy. So let me tell you what we do for stay safe protected. Turn inna your house and don't go outside. Otherwise, Babylon go make you apologize. B.F. Skinner, this a man ya say, if you do something right, you will get a reward. So stop play spite, Mr. Oldness, say you must stay inside. See, then now we get little more time. Operant conditioning is a method of learning through a system. Reward or punishment, reward or punishment, reward or punishment, the choice is yours. No, I'm doing operant conditioning, and B.F. Skinner came up with this theory because he decided that classical conditioning was too simple to explain the complexity of the human mind, or how complex the human mind is, right? So he came up with the idea of operant conditioning. Now there is negative conditioning and positive conditioning, right? He explained positive conditioning by putting a rat in his Skinner box, and basically what he did was put a lever in the box, and every time the rat stepped on the lever or hit on the lever, it would bring the rat food. So basically over a period of time, the rat learned that if he's hungry or if he wants food, he has to pull the lever. That is positive conditioning, because if he pulls the lever, he gets food, right? So that's a reward. That's how that works with the reward. And he proved negative conditioning with the same rat and lever, but this time, in order to not get shocked, the rat had to pull the lever or step on the lever. And basically, if the rat did not step on the lever or pull the lever by a certain time, it would get shocked. So after some time, the rat realized that, oh, I have to pull this lever or I'm going to get shocked. So that is the punishment system. If you don't pull the lever, you're going to get shocked. So basically, this is what Skinner used to explain the operant conditioning theory. Thank you.
This song is entitled Turn on Your Yard. So I am Devon Reynolds from the School of Music. The song titled Turn on Your Yard. For this music, I applied the theory of operant conditioning by B.F. Skinner. This theory is a learning process through which the strength of a behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. In this theory, there is an association between a behavior and a consequence. And the result of his experiment done on rats in what he called a Skinner box led him to the conclusion that actions followed by reinforcement are strengthened, while those that result in punishment or undesired consequences will be weakened, thus resulting in that particular action less likely to happen. So this theory can be used to bring about the social change of behaviors and learning of new ones. So in this song done by us, the School of Music students, built around the lyrics, "Stand on the Yard," which was a slogan used by the Prime Minister to place emphasis on people staying home during the spreading of the COVID-19 virus, which eventually could cause the death of citizens, as we all know. So before the pandemic, people were very sociable, but were now instructed to stay home to be safe from the virus. So to reinforce this behavior, curfews were put in place by security forces, to ensure that people stayed home. And the punishment for breaking this order was that you either spend some time in prison or you pay some money to the law. Now, there were a few persons who disobeyed this law and were punished, and I guess they were used as examples to the wider society to show that it is a serious thing. We mean stay home, So here we can see the theory applied in terms of reinforcement and punishment, and it worked. Now everybody stays home. Every day it is seen on the television. It's a slogan by the Prime Minister, "Turn on your yard," and it's really reinforced by the security forces. So this theory, operant conditioning, works in this sense, and so it is emphasized in the music. I haven't played all of the lyrics, but that's a tagline for the music itself.
Hello, my name is Camila Crosdale. So we all know that the corona situation is basically, taking over the whole place, and it really doesn't look like outside plan to keep again. So this whole situation with corona has changed the behavior of many of our citizens. Throughout the years, there have been many theories that have spoken on behavior, but I'm going to focus on one, which is B.F. Skinner. So behaviorism refers to a psychological approach which emphasizes scientific and objective methods of investigation. As we grow, we learn new behaviors, and our minds are conditioned to learn and understand new concepts. We learn new behaviors through two types of conditioning, which are classical and operant. In this case, we'll be working with the operant condition, which ties into B.F. Skinner's theory. Now, what is operant conditioning? It is an associated learning by which a behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. Now, if you link these modifications to the whole current situation, in terms of reinforcement, the government continually tells us to wash our hands, use hand sanitizers, alcohol, and to wear a mask. And not to mention that we also need to stay 6 feet apart from each other. So this constant reinforcement has now conditioned the mind of persons to always be washing their hands and carrying their own hand sanitizers, alcohol, and wearing their mask. But not everybody is following these rules, and this is where the punishment comes in. So the Prime Minister passed a curfew to enforce the rules of staying 6 feet apart, but not everybody was following them, and this is just causing the virus to spread more. When persons didn't listen, the curfews would get tighter, so he would make them from, instead of 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, he would put them at 5 or at 3. And if persons still continually break the curfew, the Zozo would be on the road to catch anybody who is being defiant. So we really just need to stay inside, stay safe, wash our hands, always wear a mask, and just listen to the government, pay attention, because this coronavirus is no joke and we can't take it lightly. We need to be serious about it.
Psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud.
speaks about the id, the ego, and the superego. The id. This is the pleasure-driven stage of the mental development process. This is where the individual seeks instant gratification and selfish desires are a priority. The ego. This deals with reality. It negotiates the demands of the id. The superego is all about morality. This is a part that questions the id. Is this right? Is this socially acceptable? Should I be doing this? During this pandemic, we have the younger generation who wants to have fun. They want to party. They want to go to the beach. They want to socialize rather than staying at home, being safe, keeping their families safe from this virus. They are clearly acting in the id. And one is to ask, are their superego fully developed? They lack judgment. They lack rational thinking.
So the video YAAD can depict B.F. Skinner theory, where his theory is based on operant condition. That can occur in two ways: reinforcement and punishment. The idea that behavior is determined by its consequences. The lyrics of the song and the video already condition person's mind to know how important it is to stay home in order to reduce the virus. If people don't obey the curfew order given by the government, they will face consequences. Therefore, the rules are reinforced and the type of punishment that will take place if person don't obey the rules given. The rules given by the government also help us as a people in order to adjust our behaviors. So I seen where YAAD song can depict B.F. Skinner theory.
name is Nicola Pringle, and I will be speaking on B.F. Skinner's behaviorism. Now, there are two types of behaviorism, classical and operant. B.F. Skinner's theories, however, falls on the operant. Now, what is operant? This is an associative learning by which a behavior is either modified by punishment or reinforcement. Punishment would cause the behavior to either diminish or be totally removed. The reinforcement is what will cause the behavior to reoccur. There's a line that says,
as the stand keep coming, zones up on the road, them up to something. Who walk out, get shot out.
No, this has to do with the curfew that Prime Minister Andrew Holness, aka Brogard, had placed on St. Catherine and some other parishes. Curfews was from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. the next day. Now, police and soldiers were actually placed on the outside, roaming the streets to make sure that no one actually goes outside. And this is to prevent further spreading of disease, people going somewhere they shouldn't, and all of that stuff. Now, there was a person on social media who had done a live, posted a video stating that he's not staying inside. Now, this video went viral, and the man actually got a lot of attention on himself. Now, to show how serious the situation was, police actually went to his house and found him under the bed hiding, and actually took him to prison, because they're serious about it. After the whole situation was taken care of, he apologized to the Prime Minister, and he even made sure that before curfew started in almost an hour before, right? And this actually sent a message out to a lot of Jamaicans to show that, yo, this is serious. Reinforcers. Reinforcers. Now, there's another line in the song that says,
it's not a dream. Perfect picture, it already have you well a screen. Can make a dollar.
Yes. So, before people were actually aware of how to prevent this disease, a lot of people were scared of how to, cope. Later on, when it was discovered that a certain level of alcohol is needed to purify or clean your hands from this COVID-19. Reinforcement in this case was when people actually started making their own masks, either donating or buying masks all over in order to wear it in public places. And also, hand sanitizers were handed out by security, for each customer or maybe a student who wants to go on campus, So every time somebody steps on campus, hands need to be sanitized. Some business places, well, most nowadays, it reinforces the fact that you need to wear a mask in order to step in their facility. Now, by reinforcing this behavior, people will have to keep their minds that they have to wear a mask and their hands have to be sanitized. No, people are getting their own masks, people are carrying their own sanitizer. So this behavior is just recurring over and over and over, showing the fact that reinforcement has been taking place, and the results are really well. I'll have man on the side of the road, have alcohol in the backlash spray, $50. Me personally, totally, but you can see that this thing is becoming the norm because it's reinforced over and over and over again. Thank you.
In a general way, the video was a compilation of the collective interpretation of experiences during the COVID pandemic within the Caribbean context. The expressions of drama, dance, and music were done particularly, though, to reflect the practical applications of psychological theories within the context of intrapersonal and interpersonal interactions within the COVID pandemic. the School of Music, students from the School of Music, my colleagues and I, we were responsible for creating 2 tracks that were used in the video, audio tracks that is. The first one was entitled The Parody of Beethoven's Fifth, and we dubbed it Tanaya Yard. It was inspired by the government stipulations for persons to just stay at home, right? The second one was a cover of Michael Jackson's Heal the World. In reference to these 2 tracks, I believe that 2 theories, psychological theories, could be postulated for application. The first one is B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning, and the second, Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytical theory. With regard to the application of B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning, we could find 3 operands being present. There was positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and punishment. With regard to positive reinforcement, the lyrics in Tanaya Yard actually encouraged individuals to stay at home. It conditioned them to stay at home. The benefit of this to the individual would be that they could actually reduce the probability of them contracting the disease and thereby even dying. Negative reinforcement could be found in the fact that individuals staying at home could actually result in lessening of the restrictions that they were now under. And thirdly, punishment could be found in the song with its reference to being placed in a state where they would have been punished for being in contravention of the government stipulations to actually stay at home. Tanaya Yard. It's for your own good. Michael Jackson's Heal the World, on the other hand, is functioning in more of a insinuative basis because it wasn't written specifically for the COVID pandemic, but it is applicable to it. Negative reinforcement can be mainly seen here because the lyrics really are referring to, or encouraging persons rather, to deviate from behaviors such as selfishness, inequity, and hate towards others, to embrace equity, love, brotherly kindness in order for individuals to see a better day. The world can only be healed now if there is deviation from hoarding of resources, discrimination of persons who have contracted the disease, and so on. So we can see then where negative reinforcement was evident in this song. The parody of Beethoven's Fifth that we dubbed Tanaya Yard showed evidence of aspects of the personality that was postulated by Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytical theory. If you were to consider the opening of the piece, the monologue, that opening there, and then as an interplay between the chorus and the verse, you could see evidence of the id part of the personality, that kind of irrational, self-gratifying part of the personality that would have sought to be in contravention of stipulations of social distancing and so on, just to go play football, be around your friends, to socialize in that way. That would have been id, the irrational part. But then it would have been counteracted immediately by the chorus that would have been the superego, right? Its spectral brother. That would have been encouraging the more rational thing to do, Tanaya Yard, right? Because it would only be to your own benefit and the benefit of those who would have been in your space. And if you were to consider the chorus, what you would actually see is that the chorus is actually giving recommendations of things that could be done at home rather than breaking the stipulations that the id would have postulated at the beginning of the song. So we can see that psychological theories are really evident in our everyday lives. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Shireen Davis and this is my review for the Tanaya Yard, the Pandemic Edition. Now, this video was a creative representation of the effects of the current pandemic, and we will be using it as our case study to explain the humanistic theory and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now we'll be making the connection between the effects of the outbreak on the people, how they're handling the lockdown, and connecting it to the hierarchy of needs as it is. Now, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is charted as a set of human requirements that are important for humans to develop their complete self-actualization. And there are 5 stages. They are: 1, the physiological need, basic requirements for survival, air, water, food, and reproduction. 2, safety and security needs. These refer to your personal security, employment resources, help, and property ownership. 3, the need for love and belonging. And this includes friendship, family, intimacy, and a sense of belonging, be it to a group of social, ethnical, or even spiritual similarities. Now, these are called the 3 lower needs, and then you have the last 2, which are the higher needs. These are the esteem needs, which focuses on self-respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. And the 5th one is self-actualization. This deals with the desire to be the best you can be or to reach your highest potential. Now, the pandemic, the Tanaya YAAD video presentation, shows the current lockdown, depicting that the effects of how the country's economy and livelihood has been disturbed. And you can see how this has caused some persons to become very rebellious. So you look at social distancing, which means no form of social gathering via church, restaurant, beaches, hence no social life. And that means no intimacy or sense of connection or even any sense of belonging. Now, you look at people not being able to work, and no job directly affects the safety and security needs, leaving most persons unable to provide for themselves and possibly losing the roof over their head, which also affects the esteem needs, because no job means no financial independence, no financial freedom, and no status and recognition. Not to mention no school. That has put a spoke in the wheel of education and has slowed down the progression of the term where exams are concerned. This also hinders the path of one reaching to their full potential, hence affecting the students' self-actualization. They're all connected, see? And even though we're already afraid of catching the disease because that in itself would pose a threat to our physiological needs, studies have shown that wearing a mask is actually dangerous because we're inhaling carbon dioxide, and that can destroy your lungs over a prolonged period of time. And we need air to survive, right? So definitely it's also affecting us physiologically as well. And you can see where the rebellious behavior that is shown by the people are driven by all these issues. Now, we want to make another connection to the hierarchy of needs in comparison to the anxiety that is being brought on by the COVID-19. Now, you can see that the anxiety is being caused as a result of the deprivation of the safety and security needs. This is where we see people risking their safety to satisfy their other needs, financially and so on, taking the risk to go out there and work even though they're told to stay home. Now, once any of the needs are outweighed by the safety and security needs, anxiety and stress develops, causing a willingness to risk one need to accomplish the most deprived one. And if Maslow's hierarchy of needs are not met at the various stages, this could lead to illnesses, particularly psychiatric illness or mental health issues. Individuals whose physiological needs are not met may die or become extremely ill. And when there is a lack of safety, post-traumatic stress may also occur. Now, on a more positive note, the evidence of humanism and the highest stage of self-actualization is seen where the essential workers are urged to serve on the front lines via medical field, the constabulary force, and so on. And they are there to support the people in every possible way. And their efforts are reflecting them reaching their highest state of self-actualization through their sacrifice, as they are able to serve at their fullest potential because they're giving their best, right? Now, you can also see some positive reinforcement in the resilience of our behavior by persons working online, from home, online schooling, persons creating blogs, hilarious memes, uploading videos and photographs on social media, to help us take this time with a light spirit. Meanwhile, others are donating to people in need during the crisis, contributing to the society in a positive way and giving some reassurance of hope, you know. And this is why the Heal the World song that was written by Michael Jackson, a fellow humanitarian himself, was chosen to conclude this visual presentation. Now, in concluding, I just like to say that we were never prepared to deal with a situation like this. This situation has attacked all our human needs at the same time, hence the chaos around us. Now, with all our needs overlapping, physical unrest, anxiety, stress, it's all inevitable. Our only hope is to work together and be our brother's keeper. Because we're stronger together. We need to remain socially close while we practice physical distancing, maintain cleanliness and mental hygiene, because if we become better, then the world will become a better place. Thank you.